daughter scream. And I'm like, Bumpy, our daughter is screaming because you're making me scream. Have some decency. And he's like, I don't care. I really don't care. You're here disrespecting me, disrespecting this household, disrespecting our marriage just because of some women. And I'm like, wow. It was never him. He was never at fault. It was always me. And I was hit. And by the time he was going to now cut my daughter because she was crying, I was not bleeding. My eyelid had swollen because I had banged myself on the wall. My rib felt like it was broken because I could taste blood in my mouth. Like I had blood in my mouth. And I just sat down where he left me and I was crying and I was asking myself honestly, why? 2 days went by, I couldn't go to work. How am I going to explain to my clients, why is my lip busted? Why is my nose swollen? Why is my eyelid? I don't have an explanation. Plus, I'd been lying so many times to my clients about the bruises I have. It now felt like my clients are just going to suspect me now. I stayed home for a week. I lost clients during that week because they could not understand the inconsistency. I couldn't tell them of the inconsistency. There are some clients that are really concerned and really called and could not hang up until I told them the truth. They would tell me, it's okay, I'll call you later when your husband is not around. And I want you to tell me what's going on.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Whew.
And I had 2 clients that were like, you know what? It's okay, I'll give you this month off. And it was under the condition, you need to leave. I want by the next month, you're done and you've left. And I'm like, okay. I was like, okay. I told my best friend of now everything. One day I just sat down and I told her of the 3 Psalms, of all the heating and everything. And she's like, you can't do this. You have a daughter. It can't go on. And I was like, yes. But every time I said yes, it's true, it can't go on, I still stayed in that marriage. Made no sense. That day I was hit. Week 1, I'm not going to work. After that, it got to a point where he would not allow me to leave the compound with my daughter. Whether I'm going to the shop, no. It got to a point, if he wanted to talk to me and he thought the conversation would get heated, he'd take our daughter to the mom to hold our daughter. And it was crazy. He'd come home, Bumpy would come to the house, we'd talk. He'd hit me. I had to be hit and then go back to his mom, take my daughter as though I've not been hit. This is okay. We were just talking. It was normal marital stuff. And go back to the house, now breastfeed my daughter while crying. So after some time, I got a nanny, of course. One day, my nanny is there. And a few weeks after my nanny was home, I had lost my phone visiting my best friend. It was snatched by one of the Buddha guys. So I'm using a kabambe, the small button phone that we always use. And I think somebody, probably a wrong number, texted me, "Hi dear." And there were very many hi dears like under that number. It wasn't a saved number because I didn't know who it was. So he saw it. I'm in the shower. He's opened the door. He's like, "Oh, these people who are texting you, hi dear, are the ones that are making you here always question me. And these women that I'm always telling you there's nothing to worry about. Is this the reason? They wouldn't even text you anything decent in this time." I'm like, what are you even talking about? What's hi dear? Or who's texted that? I don't know anything about it. He tells me there's a number here that has texted you hi dear so many times. And I'm like, I have nothing to do with that. I don't know who that is. Because I have nobody who texts me hi dear. And he doesn't believe me. He yanks me out of the bathroom. And he's like, you need to explain this hi dear. Is this the reason why you'd sit down and tell me you want to get divorced and eventually we will? I'm like, no, the reason we would get divorced is because of you, your anger, and you constantly hitting me. He's like, yeah, if you are peaceful and if you are submissive, I wouldn't need to be hitting you. You have anger issues. And I'm like, okay. I just said, okay. He got mad. He started hitting me. I'm wrapped in a towel at that time. He's hit me. He's thrown the bumpy towards my face. He's like, you and these are my ideas. These are your options. And I'm like, I have no options. Honestly, there's nothing I'm doing wrong. And I don't know the idea who it was. And I'm apologizing. I'm sorry if it offended you. At that time, I don't even know who it is. I don't even know what he's talking about. That went. We slept. I woke up. I'm not going to work. I'm weak too. No work. My nanny has come. I've already started winning my baby. And my nanny asks, Mama so-and-so, mtoto atakula nini? And I'm like, can do pumpkin, this and that for like asubuhi, and then try something else. Try some porridge, like I've just explained. And then Bumpy comes from the bedroom. He's like, you, Madam Heidi. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, you need to let that go because I have no idea who that is. And he pulls me from where I was seated and pins me to the wall and slaps me and punches my tummy. Where he's holding me, I bit his hand for him to let go. And I rushed out. And I was screaming in the compound. He immediately took our daughter to the mom, like he always does. And I'm like, you know what? I want to leave. I actually want to leave today. I want to leave this marriage. I'm done. And he's like, you can go, but leave my daughter. And I'm looking at him. The daughter he's saying for me to leave is 4 months old. 4.5 at most. So I'm asking him, leave my daughter, how? She's a breastfeeding baby. You don't even breastfeed, you pump that milk and you go to work and meet those people who write text messages for you like saying, hi dear. And I'm like, are you going to base this whole conversation on hi dear from somebody I don't know? And like, those are your options. I don't care. You want to leave, go. Leave my child. And I'm like, I just pushed through him. I went upstairs and to the mom and was trying to take my daughter. As I was trying to take my daughter from my mom-in-law, I would see her turn around for me not to access my daughter and take her from her arms. And I just looked at her and I'm like, I asked, are you turning so that I don't take my daughter? It's like, no, you're angry. And I'm like, what does that anger have to do with my child? This is my child. I gave birth to this child. I want to leave this marriage and I want to live with my child. Eventually, Bumpy's brother came in and I was not allowed to take the child. After all, I was only allowed to breastfeed her, and on breastfeeding, they all stood there as I breastfed until she fell asleep. At this point, I have just texted my best friend what has just happened. My best friend is like, I can't take this anymore. You're hurt, I'm not okay, and I'm afraid you're going to die. She texted my mom. She called my mom and told her everything, from the 3 Psalms to me being hit to everything. My mother called me boiling. And I told my mom, it's okay, let me just come home. I'll come to you, don't come. I left. I went to my mom's house. I'm crying. My mom is not understanding. She's like, Mom, you're too beautiful to be going through this. I'm crying. I'm trying to understand, when did it get to this point? Like, when did I even let it get to this point? And it was crazy. My mom is like, no, you need to leave. Sat down and told my mom, I want 2 weeks and I'll have left. She asked me what's going to happen in 2 weeks. She's like, I won't tell you. In 2 weeks, I'm going to come back and I'm coming back with my daughter. She's like, okay, you go back home. I went home. This man refused to open the door for me. Completely. Until the mom had to come down to see what the commotion is about at the gate. And I'm like, he refuses me to enter the house. Bumpy's mom tells me that what you did was not right, Sophia. And I'm like, what do you mean? You people stood there as I breastfed my child, a child that I gave birth to. You people stood there and let me not take my child after I've told you I want to leave this marriage with my child. And all of you told me that I can't. So what did I do wrong? I just left and went to my mom. The same way your son Bumpy leaves and comes to you. So what's the problem? She's like, makes sense. I entered. Bumpy's dad now is on the phone. I'm being told of how disrespectful I am and how I should learn to live with Bumpy. And I just told him immediately, no. Before you take a phone, call me and tell me I'm being disrespectful. Ask your boy.